Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001! Because between you and me, they're way past cool!
Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with the second part of FanaticMitchell's commission. It is the Season 2 version of the Saturday Morning Princess Sally. Yes, Season 2, that means a little bit curvier and somewhat brighter colors, and of course, the vest. Because you all know, like, we can't have Sally running around all naked, we gotta cover that up. I kind of love how their response to concerns about Sally looking too naked was to drop an open vest around her shoulders, and that kind of became her look for like nearly 20 years. Like, it wouldn't be until after the Super Genesis Wave reboot that they actually put clothes on Princess Sally so she would look more like a character from the video games, but like they kept the nudie train rolling for that long. I find that very, very amusing. But let's get into the actual making of the figure. Just like my first Princess Sally, the base would be this Tina Belcher from the Loyal Subjects Action Vinyls, a figure that is very easy to dismantle, relatively speaking. Although this time, since I wanted to do the Season 2 interpretation of Sally, I wanted to make, to try and capture that curvier look. So when I made my own Princess Sally, I took that little belly bulge thing that Tina had, and I just kind of cut it down into like a cylinder to be the midriff. But this time, instead of cutting into all that crap, I actually just went to Tinkercad and made my own midriff. It's basically two parabolas stacked on top of each other with a squash cylinder to be a stomach. And, of course, a hole that goes down the middle that's big enough to be that little, go through that shaft that is the waist joint of the Tina figure. And, yeah, this would give me a curvy midriff for the, Princess Sally. And then when I actually put it together as a test assembly, it kind of made me realize that this is sort of a whole new way to make Tangle. Like, instead of using the Daenerys Targaryen figure, like, now Tina could be a perfect base body for Tangle. And, you know what? The Tina figure has pin-disc shoulders that have more of a range of movement than the ball-jointed shoulders that the Daenerys figure has. So, if you want a Jack-specific scale Tangle figure, then the Tina figure is officially a better base to use for her. So, yeah, we'll go with that. So, yeah, that is the, of course, it has to be Princess Sally, so that means painting the torso up to actually look like, Sally's sexy little curvy squirrel body. And the legs, and then the arms and legs are pretty simple. The legs are the same, except with shoes, which are 3D printed. This is actually the same model for the Princess Sally feet for my ideal modern Princess Sally figure. The funny thing is, making the shoes in Jazzware scale actually works for the proportionally smaller feet that the Saturday Morning scale has. So, like, if this was like a classic Princess Sally, which remember, technically doesn't exist, then it would have had to print the shoes much bigger, like the size of Whisper's feet. But since it's Sat AM, you can get away with sticking on a pair of Jazzware's feet on there, or Jazzware's sized feet. The arms, I didn't do anything to them aside from paint them. The Tina figure already has 4 fingers, so that matches Princess Sally's style just fine. And, I made a vest out of a little piece of blue rubber. This is something that is nice and flexible and will remain in place. Although, Mitchell, if you're watching this, of course you're watching this, this video is for you. Don't try to take the vest off. I glued it down on the corners so that it wouldn't flop around as you move her arms. So, yeah, don't try to take it off. You'll take off quite a bit of paint with it. And that is Princess Sally. Since this is the Season 2 look, she is painted with brighter colors. That is actually not brown paint. Again, to make this particular color, it's actually almost all red paint with only a drop of brown paint added. And then, that brown paint did make it way too dark, so I had to add quite a bit of yellow paint. There's actually twice as much yellow paint as there is brown paint, and even then I had to add a drop of yellow, a drop of white. So, like, I learned my lesson from how Bunny's colors came out darker than I wanted them to be, and this is now a nice light shade of brown, which I'm not completely sure is the shade that Mitchell was going for, but seriously, it's hard to come up with the perfect shade of brown paint, especially because it always seems to dry darker than expected. And her hair is, of course, much redder, a much more fiery red. I tried to dip a little bit of brown paint into the red, but that just made it look really dark brown, like way too dark brown. So I just said, screw it, she's going to stay with red. She's either going to have red hair or she's going to have human-looking brown hair. Like I can't seem to get that shade of, what is it, like auburn, mocha? Like, what color would you say Sally's hair is? Because it is brown, but it's like such a red brown. Anyway, I guess this is kind of more similar to her comic book color scheme. Yeah, the comic book did have a lot more primary colors in there. Like, Bunny was outright yellow, Sally had fiery red hair. Like, I think the comic book was trying to lean more into the aesthetics of the video games, and the first thing they did was get rid of those earth tones. But now I'm rambling about irrelevant details, so that has been Sonic Season 2 SATAM Princess Sally. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thank you all for watching. We will catch you next time.